Hello there, everyone. We are about to get started. Thank you for signing in. Hi there, Chris. Hi, Ernie. Hello, Guy, Josh, Casey, Peter. Wonderful to have you guys here with us. Would you mind just letting me know if you can hear my voice okay by typing into the chat box, please? Also, you should be able to see my screen. And that actually looks like a PowerPoint presentation right now. So you should be able to see just the main slide of the presentation. So awesome, Chris and Peter, so you can hear me okay. Ernie says I sound okay. That is wonderful. Well, we are recording here, guys. We're gonna get started in just another minute. We like to start on time. Let me ask, where are you guys calling in from today? What part of the country are you all in? Let's see who's the furthest away from me here in Nashville. Okay, so we've got Chris and Ernie, both from California. Chris is from Sacramento. Peter's in Denver. Casey's also in California. I wonder if you guys know each other. You're not from the same office, are you? I mean, California's a big place, of course. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful, guys. Well, we're going to get started here. And I'm going to go ahead and press the record button. All right, wonderful. Well, welcome everybody to the 3-day conversion machine. We're really excited to hold this webinar for you. I am Costas Peppas. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Agent Legend, and I'm here to show you how the top agents and teams are tripling their lead engagement rate. Whether it's new leads, old leads, cold leads, I'm going to show you the right messaging and a strategy that you can use to get the most out of your leads. Before I go any further, I wonder, I recognize some of you, and I think we've spoken with you before, but just for those who aren't familiar with our story, actually, I may as well ask everybody right here on the webinar, how many of you were in the business back during the financial crash around 2008 or a little bit before 2006, 2007? Were any of you in the business by then? Okay, I see a couple of people saying that they were. Okay, great. Chris, you were in it. Wonderful. So, we were not at that time. So, but I actually had a friend who was a mortgage broker, and he'd been doing very well when things were really great. And then suddenly around 2006, the market started taking a downturn. He started hitting some challenges. And this was a really good friend of mine. And he told me that he wasn't getting any more leads. And I remember him telling me in confidence, he had to talk to me as a friend. He said, Costas, if God just sends me a lead, I promise that I will do everything that I can to stay in touch with that lead. I'll never take another lead for granted. And he meant it because, this guy lived and died by the leads of his business, and, things had been started to get scarce for a while. And I knew he meant it. So let me ask you guys who are here with me today live, what do you think happened a month later when we got together for dinner and I said, hey, remember that commitment you told me that you made? I wanted to hold him accountable. I just want to see how he's doing. I said, how have you been doing at following up with your leads? Do you think he kept his promise? I want to see what you guys would venture to guess, right? So Chris was the first to get it. No, he didn't. That's crazy, right? I mean, my gosh, how could anybody say they're going to do something like that, but then not do it? None of you can ever relate to that kind of struggle, right? I mean, of course not, right? I mean, here's the thing about leads, especially the kind of leads that come in that you get more of, right? Number one, they're cold. Number two, they don't know who you are. And oftentimes you have to prioritize other activities over them. So it's not crazy to think that the leads that know the least about you are going to get overlooked. Now, the truth is, at the same time, that's the key to growing your business, right? That's the key to scaling your business. And we call this the paradox of the successful agent. And that paradox is this: if you have the know-how and ability and the success, you're successful enough to know how to generate your own leads, Whether you buy them from somewhere like Zillow or Realtor.com, or you generate them online, however you do it, if you are successful enough to be able to invest in a number of leads, then you do not have the time to follow up with them. It's a catch-22, right? Because in order to invest in the leads, you need to have a measure of success. But in order to follow up with those leads, you need to have the time. And so we noticed this when we first came onto the industry. You know, we've been in this market now for 2016. So we found this early on. And the really amazing thing, well, I'll just tell you guys this because it's an aside. Remind me at the end of the presentation if you want for me to tell you what was the thing that really stuck out about your industry and what made us jump to it before anything and everything else. So it was actually the birth of Agent Legend as we know it. So let me know if you're interested in hearing that story. I won't bore you with it right now because we have a plan here. And so Dan Kennedy, he's a very, very smart man. Dan Kennedy had a quote. He says, "Leads are the lifeblood of every business and the essential fuel of any and every fortune." Dan Kennedy is a really smart man. He goes on to say that if you cannot create a system or process or means that brings you a sufficient quantity and quality of leads on a steady and dependable basis, then you cannot control your own destiny. You'll ride the revenue roller coaster, you'll suffer peaks and valleys, slumps and droughts, and you'll live with bouts of anxiety and stress for as long as you're in business. I'm reading this quote. I have it printed out right here on my desk. The sad reality is that this is how most agents live, and this is why most of them ultimately fail. And you know this, right? New agents fail to launch because of poor lead generation. Hot teams spike and then they crash and burn due to unsteady lead flow. Even established brokerages fail to make money because of poor lead flow. And it also doesn't help that the industry is evolving and it's changing fast right before our eyes, right? I was at, I'm not sure if any of you were at the Inman conference in Las Vegas just the week before last, but there is a rash of well-funded direct-to-consumer companies. They're coming into the space. It's iBuyers, right? And they are offering inferior solutions that do not have the homeowner's best interest at heart. This is so obvious. These iBuyer programs could not in a million years get these homeowners a deal like anybody in this room or anybody listening to this presentation could, right? So what does this mean right now? Well, here's the thing. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but I can tell you one thing with absolute certainty, and that is the value of a lead is going up. The leads that you have right now and the leads that you're generating right now, they're worth more than they've ever been in the past. And I think that you already know this, and that's why you're here, right? You're here how to learn to monetize your leads. And I told you that, we told you that we're going to show you how to do that. But before I do that, let me ask you, are all leads created equal? If you have a list of all the leads that came in this month or last month, is each one of those leads equally valuable to you, or are some leads more valuable than others? That's a real question I want to ask. So Chris, Dennis, Ernie, Guy, Josh, Casey, Mike. Hey there, Mike. I know you well. Peter, Tom. So no, you're all responding. No, all leads are not all created equal. Some are more valuable than others. And so let's keep that in mind here. And also share some stats that you probably already know. 35 to 50% of sales go to the person who responds first. Well, what does that mean? That means you could be an amazing agent. You could be able to take better care of your clients, but you lose a deal to a mediocre, to an inferior agent just because they responded first. It's definitely not fair, but it's how most deals work. So you know you need to be first. That's just true. Everybody needs to be first at this time. You're not even, it used to be that you could be first and you get most of the business. Now the industry's evolved even more than that. So let me ask you, true or false? If a prospect ignores your messages, then you should remove them from your list and move on. What if you've messaged somebody, you've left a voicemail, you've called them up, you've sent some messages, they ignore you? I'm curious to know what you guys think you should do. please just type it into the chat box. I'm genuinely curious in how you guys would answer this question. If a prospect ignores your messages, you should remove them from your list and move on. Is that true or is that false? So Chris gives an answer, Ernie gave an answer, Casey gave an answer, and you're all indicating the same thing. Casey said it directly. The answer is false. And Ernie, I want to respond to something that you said as well. The answer is false. You need to have the right message, right? But that message has to hit the person at the right time. So for example, I'm not hungry right now, right? I already ate, I'm not hungry. I would not care about a free pizza, never mind one for half price, right? Does that mean I'll never be hungry? Some of you saw my pizza email yesterday. Of course not. I love pizza, but you know what? I'm A, not hungry. B, I'm presenting this webinar. So if somebody offered me the best pizza in the world for absolute free, I wouldn't give them the time of day. That's what we call timing, right? And timing is everything. It's not just about having the right message. So let me ask you a question, and I just want you to keep this in mind. Businesses that blank experience a 451% increase in qualified leads. Businesses that blank. What is the blank? So before we answer that question, I want to look at the popular approaches, right? What are people doing now? What might you be doing now? What are some things that get tried very often in this industry? Well, number one, you can do it yourself, right? And that is what each and every one of you know how to do, and you probably know how to do it really, really well. You would not make it past the first stage of this business if you didn't know how to do it yourself. And what I mean by that is every time your phone rings, you answer it, especially if you're investing money in leads, right? I mean, my gosh, if you're spending $1,000 so that you can get these leads this month, then you're not going to let one slip through the cracks. So you answer the phone, you respond to the text messages, you reach out when you have a minute, right? That means when you're at dinner with your family and your spouse is tired of you always getting interrupted and you having ADD and having to look at your phone all the time, your phone rings, you got to step away, right? That means when you're at your kids' theater production or sporting event, you got to step away. Basically, it means your phone and your computer are a glorified leash and that you are reactive to those all day, every day. Now, here's the thing. As I say that, most of you would be willing to do it if that's what you had to do. And the truth is, that's what most successful agents have to do, especially in the beginning. But the problem with that is that if you're at the beck and call, reactive to your phone, then as you get successful, you're in the middle of a closing, you're in the middle of closing a deal or negotiating a deal, your phone rings with a lead, you can't answer it because you're not going to drop, what's that old saying, right? One in the hand. You're not going to drop the lead that you're about to close in favor of another lead that may not turn into anything. So you have to prioritize. And the truth is that a solo agent who is busy doing follow-up on his or her own cannot maintain that follow-up consistently. Well, so what's next? Well, you can hassle your agents. And oftentimes this is how teams and brokerages get started, right? A successful agent gets too busy, so they bring in other people who can help them. Now, this is great, right? Teams, brokerages, they're fantastic, right? It's the way you get leverage by bringing people in and growing your organization with amazing talent. But here's the thing. The agents that you bring onto your team or your brokerage, they're just people too, right? And they're oftentimes, you want producers. You want to recruit producers into your brokerage, into your team. And producers are busy. They're busy like you are. You want them to be busy closing deals, not qualifying leads. So, these brokers, and you may know someone like this. You may know someone like this maybe intimately, very personally. These brokers that call these meetings and they hold these rah-rah meetings every week telling people, hey, I'm sending you all these leads. You got to stay on top of them. You got to answer the phone when I call. You got to do this. You got to do that. You're hassling your agents. At the end of the day, a good agent is not going to be able to keep up with follow-up as well. And so that brings us to the third very popular solution, hiring help, right? There's a whole industry that exists around this. It's the ISA industry, right? ISAs are great. It's amazing having somebody focused all day. They're at their desk and they're on the phones for you. They're taking calls, they're making calls. It's amazing, right? It's your own dedicated assistant. But here's the thing about that. And let me ask you guys this. Can someone else who doesn't know you, who doesn't know your business, can they do a better job talking to your prospects than you could? That's a real question you think about, right? Someone doesn't know your locality, doesn't know your market, doesn't know you. Who would do a better job, apples to apples, you or them? And so the big question becomes, how can you transfer your skill set? How can you take what you know about your market and how you run your business to someone that doesn't have your experience? Because keep in mind, when you bring on an ISA, you're outsourcing some of the highest leveraged, most important activities. And so that question, businesses that blank experience a 451% increase in qualified leads. The answer, according to the Annuitas Group, is businesses that use marketing automation to nurture prospects. Now, automation is great. Automation is fantastic, unless its cover gets blown. Automation sucks when its cover gets blown. Nobody wants to be the recipient of something they know is automated. I mean, I can tell you guys from personal experience, if I get an email that I know was automated, that somebody didn't even write me, unless I'm super desperate for whatever it is they're emailing me about, I will delete it. Because I don't believe that these people took their own time to email me. Nothing is worse than when your phone rings. You know what's worse than those telemarketing calls? And you guys know what I'm talking about. You answer your phone and there's a pause for like 2 seconds and you're like, oh God, this is just, the person overseas getting connected. So you try to hang up the phone before they even have a chance to say anything. You know what's worse than those calls? Is the call that you answer, and it's not even a real person on the other line. It's an automated message, a recording that's playing as you're answering the phone. Nothing is worse than that, to me at least. I don't know if you guys can relate. But so automation is horrible unless people don't know it's automated. I'm not talking about clunky bots. I'm not talking about autoresponder messages that send out the same cookie cutter stuff, the same cookie cutter emails. And so the real question here is, how can you automate your follow-up so that no one ever suspects or even imagines it's not actually you? And that is the answer to how you can truly scale your business. It's the answer to how you can clone yourself. It's the answer to how can you take the unique skill, personality, knowledge that you bring, the reason that you're so successful, and clone yourself 100 times so that you follow up with everyone in the same way. You might have heard it said, ask, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. We at Agent Legend, we ask this question. We've been asking this same question for years. Whenever we have a meeting about our roadmap, about technology that we have to develop, this is the central tenet that guides every single technology meeting that we have, right? So we are obsessed with answering this question. And what we have is a solution that I'm going to share with you that puts all the things that you know are important together. Number one, speed to the lead. So you got to be first. Number two, your messaging has to be personal. None of it can seem cookie cutter. Nobody wants to get autoresponder content that's been created by a computer. Number three, multimedia, right? If you've got someone's phone number and it's a cell phone, then you shouldn't just call them. First of all, you should leave them a voicemail if they don't answer, right? You're not going to call someone and then hang up if they don't answer. You'll leave them a voicemail. But number two, if it's a cell phone, you should text them as well, because they're probably going to get your text, right? You use all the media that you have available to you. Number four, you want to be natural. You don't want to be pushy, right? There's nothing worse than an aggressive salesperson, than someone who's aggressive, who's annoying, right? Who's a pest. And lastly, you want to do it right. And we have found that there is a magic number. There's a formula here that I'm going to share with you where you're going to have the confidence to know, based on research, based on evidence that we've seen, exactly what to say, when to say it, and the timing to do so. So I'm going to get into that. But first, I want to ask you, you know how many leads that you get right now. And I'm guessing that you might not track this accurately, but you know what kind of response that you get from those leads, right? So you know that, if you got 20 leads from Zillow this month, you know how many of those leads you actually had good conversations with. And then I'm also assuming you know your closing numbers as well, right? So if I can talk to 20% of my leads, and then of those 20% of the leads that I speak to, let's say 5% turn into closings, then I can do the math. I want to ask you, what would your business look like if you could double your response rate? And just, everybody here has unique numbers to that, right? Imagine that. What if your response rate doubled? Or what if it tripled from the same leads that you're already getting, paying for, investing in? So you don't invest more money in more leads, but what if you got triple the response from the same leads? What would that look like? What would your day-to-day look like? What might your GCI look like? What would your business look like? Because that's exactly what I'm going to show you here in the form of case studies. So Agent Legend, this is a sneak peek at our platform. You're looking at a screenshot of an actual account. And you can see here that this person here, his name is Lyndon Moe. He's one of our customers. Lyndon has 2 campaigns in his Agent Legend account. One is for Zillow, one is for Realtor.com. And you can see the number of prospects that he's got in each of these campaigns at the time of the screenshot. And you can see how many of them have responded. So he got 81% of his Realtor.com leads to respond. He got 77% of his Zillow leads to respond. Keep in mind what this means. This means that 8 out of 10 leads actually talked to him. Now, that doesn't mean they were all amazing leads. That doesn't mean they were all interested, right? But at least you heard back from most of them. And that's honestly half the battle, isn't it? Like, if you get 100 leads, you need to know which ones you should actually focus your time on and which ones are a waste of time because they're not really interested. And so that's part of what our system does. It shows you the quality of your leads. It shows you if a lead is a good lead and worth your time following up with. And then, as an added benefit, when you're speaking with your Zillow rep and you say to your Zillow rep, hey, you know what? The leads this quarter didn't really turn into business. And then your Zillow rep says, well, hey, let me ask you, did you call each one of them? You could say, yes, I actually have a log of all the calls and what time I made the calls and what I said and what they said. And so, yeah, they're bad leads. So what are you guys going to do about it? That's very, very powerful. Let me stop right here for a second and just see if you guys have typed anything into the chat box. So Casey says that you're still on the first slide. And let me see here, guys. So Ernie, I'm sorry. Ernie is seeing this as well. So it looks like maybe you guys aren't seeing, everybody's not on the same slide here. So it looks like we're stuck on the first slide. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can fix this. Are you guys able to see my screen right now? You should be looking at the entire slide deck here. And let me see, I know we've got more people on here. Okay, so Guy and Ernie, you're able to see it. So now what if I go into full screen mode? Are you able to see just that one screen that I'm on right now? And this is here, let me go back one slide. This is the dashboard that I was just talking about a minute ago. Are you able to see that where it shows Realtor.com campaign and Zillow campaign? Okay, so Casey and Chris, it looks like you're telling me yes. I just want to wait until I hear from one other person. Brandon, would you mind typing into the chat box, letting me know? Dennis, Ernie, Guy, Josh, Michael, both Mikes, Peter, Tom. Huh. Okay, so you guys still see the slide deck. This is really weird, guys. So Chris says he could see the slide deck, but they're not clear. I'm so sorry. Let me take a second here and try and figure out how to fix this. Just a second, please. I'm going to stop showing my screen and then I'm going to restart it and let's see if this helps. Okay, does this help, guys? Okay, so you could see the slides, but if I change it, if I click this button, I'm in presentation mode right now, and you're saying that you cannot see the slides now? If I scroll through, like I'm gonna scroll through right here. Are you able to see this slide now, or is it still, like I'm scrolling through individual slides right now? Ah, okay. All right. So why don't I just go like this? I'm gonna try and just make this bigger, and that way you guys will be able to see this. How's this? Is this acceptable? Are you guys able to see this? It's the only way I can think to make this work. Okay, wonderful. So let me go back up here. See if I can make this a little smaller. Okay. So this is the screenshot I was showing you earlier. Realtor.com and Zillow. Normal response rate. And what I'm going to show you is a 3-day campaign that we've discovered using our system. So this is 3 days. See if I should make this a little bigger. So this is a 3-day campaign. It consists of voicemails, emails, and text messages. So the idea is when a lead comes in, when a new lead comes in, you want to follow a certain sequence every time. And this is the sequence that's proven to be effective. Number one, I just want you to know that when our system lists a voicemail, our system is able to drop voicemails directly into a cell phone without ringing the cell phone. That's really, really important because I told you earlier, there's nothing more annoying than a call that you know is automated. But I'm not sure if you guys could relate to this, if you've ever maybe been driving or you've been in an appointment and suddenly you looked at your phone and you have a missed call, but you don't remember that your phone ever rang. And you're like, huh, how did I get a missed call? I must not have had reception or something. That's exactly how our system is able to deliver these messages in your voice. So we're able to drop voicemails directly into your prospect's phone without them knowing it. So that's really, really important. There's no chance that a prospect can accidentally pick up the phone and realize any of it is automated. So the plan that we're going to look at here is a 3-day plan. It's 3 days of voicemail, email, text message. And the perfect combination of those things. So let's look at day one. On day one, when a lead comes in, this is the formula that we found works best. Number one, you call them and you leave a voicemail. Number two, 10 minutes after you do that, you send them an email. And 5 minutes after the email, you send them a text message. Now here, let me stop here for a second because I think it's obvious to you why you want to do that, right? Why don't you want to just text somebody right away? Why don't you want to text somebody literally the second they come in? Why not just send them a text message saying, hey, thanks for writing in. I'd be happy to talk with you. I'm curious to see your opinions on this. If you wouldn't mind, just chat me the answer into the chat box. Why is it that you wouldn't want to text somebody right away? Why would you wait 15 minutes? Curious to see what you guys say. So Chris, Dennis, Ernie, Guy, Josh, Casey, Michael, Mike's, Ryan, Tom. Yeah, so Guy was the first to come in and then a bunch of other people too. It looks automated, right? That blows your cover. Nobody believes that if they get a text message right away that it was actually you. And even worse, if they did believe it, it would seem creepy, right? Especially if it happened in the middle of the night or something like that. So again, the formula that we found works. Voicemail immediately. Now in reality, it ends up being like 1 or 2 minutes later. But then you space out your follow-ups exactly as you would if you were an actual person that wanted to build a relationship. So now let's look at the voicemail. What do you actually say? I'm going to go ahead and hit play and let's see if my microphone picks up this voicemail.
Hi, this is Tristan. Thank you for your request. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the property and schedule a private showing. I can also help you find other properties and answer any general questions you may have about real estate. Just give me a call back at your convenience. Hope you're having a great day.
So I hope you could hear that. That was one of our customers. That was Tristan. He actually has done a lot to test these kinds of messaging. And that is his voice, leaving a voicemail the way that and saying what he would normally say if he were having to leave voicemail. So he didn't go out of his way to invent anything. That's how he talks and that's what he would say. So immediately, 1 or 2 minutes after the lead comes in, they get his voicemail. So then what happens? 10 minutes after that, they get an email. Here's the email that we found works really well. Number 1, subject line, your property request. Now this specific campaign was written for lead providers like Zillow, where somebody submits a request about a property, right? They say they're interested in this specific property. So here's what you say. Hi, first name. Thanks for your inquiry regarding the property 123 Main Street. I'd be happy to schedule a private showing or answer any questions you have. Please feel free to text, call, or email. This actually email came from Patrick Ferry. He's one of our customers. Patrick actually uses a calendar link and he makes these 15-minute appointment windows and he just gets people to schedule time on his calendar and then he just shows up and handles all the appointments at once, like back to back to back. That's how he handles it. But this is the email that we've had a lot of success with. And then your email signature. One thing that's worked really, really well is a link to your Zillow profile, which has, so actually, if you have a Zillow profile, our system is able to automatically display how many reviews you have automatically in your email signature. So it adds credibility. It's something that we do automatically if you have a Zillow profile. So then we talked about the voicemail, we talked about the email. Let's look at the text message. So this is the text message that works. 15 minutes after the lead came in, they get this text. Hi, first name. Of course, the first name ends up saying, hi, Tom, hi, Ryan, hi, Mike, hi, Casey. Thanks for your property inquiry. I thought following up by text might be easier. You have any specific questions about 123 Main Street, or do you want to set up a private showing? Just let me know how I can help. Just really not very different from what you'd normally say if you weren't trying to come up with something creative, right? The key here is that you're already successful and each one of you actually probably has your own way of speaking. Some people are more formal than others. Some people are more casual, and depends on your market, depends on your client base. These have worked all across the board. So let's look at day 2. Day 1, these 3 follow-ups go out within 15 minutes of each other, and then you lay off, right? You give the person all day to respond to you. A lot of times they will respond, but if they don't, then here's what happened. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., you send them just a text message, only a text message. And here's what that message would say. Hi, first name. Sorry we haven't been able to connect about that property you're interested in. How can I help? That's it. And now this is strategic because you sent that text in the morning on day 2. Now they've got all day, right? They get your text and they've got all day to get back to you. They might get back to you right away. They might get back to you later in the day. But here's the thing. They can't be mad at you. They can't be annoyed at you. Nobody can mistake this for being too aggressive. I mean, not if they reached out to you for help, right? I mean, if I reached out to you because I wanted your help and you reached out to me in this way, I wouldn't be overwhelmed. And if I got annoyed, then that's on me. That's not because you were too aggressive, right? I don't think any of you so far would look at this and say, it's too much, right? Now, why do we do this? Why do we give somebody an entire day to get back to us? Well, first of all, I don't know why it works, but it works. I can't tell you exactly why. I can tell you my opinion on why. I think the reason is because the lead came in on day one. You followed up with them like a human, right? Naturally, not too pushy, over time. Day two, if they're interested, if they're motivated, you give them all day to get back to you. But that just sets you up for day three, because if day three comes and a person hasn't gotten back to you, not even to tell you like, hey, thanks, I'll catch up with you later, I'll give you a call. But if the third day goes by and this person has ignored you on day one and day two, then we've found the best thing to do is to mix up the messaging and the time over the entire day on day three. So in the morning, they get a voicemail. In the afternoon, they get an email. And then at the end of the day, they get a text message. So think about this. So far, this campaign that I'm sharing with you, it's really the ideal campaign. It's the ideal nurture kind of cadence of how you would probably want to follow up if you had the time yourself. If you had nothing to do and unlimited energy and all you had is these leads in front of you, this is probably what most of you would feel comfortable doing. So, but let's look at day three. Voicemail goes out in the morning. Let's hear a sample of what that might sound like. This is one that we know works well.
Hi, this is Tristan, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to get in touch with you. You inquired about a property a few days ago, so I'm checking to see if you have questions about the home or if you wanted to see it. When you have a chance, call me back. I also found one other property that you may be interested in. Hope you're having a great day.
So again, the voicemail on day three just said, first of all, you acknowledge that you haven't been able to get in touch. Hey, sorry, I haven't been able to get in touch with you. I'm just calling because you said you were interested, right? So keep in mind here, you have sent a voicemail on day one, a text message on day one, an email on day one, a text message on day two. Now you're dropping them a voicemail on day three in the morning. Next, we want to send them an email. Here's a great email, checking in regarding, and we have a merge field for property address. So it would say checking in about 123 Main Street. Hey, Tom, just wanted to follow up with you regarding the property at 123 Main Street. Are you still interested in seeing it? If not, and you'd like to see a different place or want any information, just let me know. And that leaves us to the last follow-up on day three. This is a text message. Keep in mind, you left them a voicemail in the morning, you sent them an email in the afternoon. It's the end of the day now. It's the end of the day, and there's no way they could have gone 3 days and not paid attention to some of these things, right? Like maybe they see your voice, see that you left them a voicemail, but they didn't listen to it, but they saw the email and they definitely read the text message, right? So they see that you're being diligent about following up. So here's what you say in that text message. Hey, Tom, are you still interested in the property? If not, that's okay. I can help you find other properties or answer any other questions you might have. Because it's like, you know, this campaign was made for leads that asked you to get in touch with them. They're asking for help. So you have their permission to do this. You have the permit. You would actually be doing them a disservice if you're not doing everything you can to get in touch with them. And I think that's why this campaign has outshined so many other things that we've tested. Well, but that's not all, because this day and age, video is a very, very powerful thing. There's two things that we found are very, very powerful. Number one, video. Number two is people's cell phone, right? I wonder, as I'm presenting this, as you guys are on this webinar, how many times, here's the thing, I'm not even gonna ask how many of you have looked at your cell phone. I would ask how many times have you looked at your cell phone in the, however long it's been here that we've been talking, right? Half hour here that we've been talking like this. My gosh, everybody's glued to their cell phone. So we have found that the ability to send videos like this one, let me hit play here. This is Kyle Whistle, who's recorded this video, and he sends this video out to all of his prospects as they're coming in.
Hey there, it's Kyle with the Whistle Realty team. I just left you a voicemail, wanted to follow up with a text message. We recently sold a home around the corner from you on River Rock Court, sold it over full price with multiple offers. I got a lot of other buyers looking to move in the area. If you had any thoughts on making a move, give me a
That's Kyle Whistle. Again, you would not think that this is a cookie cutter video that he sends to everybody. You know, you'd think that, oh, wow, this guy just picked up his phone and shot this video for me. Here's Dustin Oldfather. This is another approach that has worked well for Dustin. Dustin, you can actually see the difference in their personalities right after I play this video, but I just want to show it to you.
Hey, it's Dustin Oldfather from Sotheby's International Realty. Following up on your expired listing, I know you're hearing from my assistant Luann and obviously from lots of other agents. The reason for our persistence is we're confident that we can get your home sold. Call me.
Wonderful. So guys, I hope you're able to see a little bit about what's working. These two videos are working really, really well. And the point is to use it, right? If you have somebody's cell phone, if someone came to you, asked you to contact them and it's a cell phone, my gosh, right? Like video is a very, very powerful medium. It's like, you know, I don't know how many of you have family members that live far away. My family lives in different parts of the country. And, you know, my wife and I, we just had a 4-month-old baby. We are very comfortable just texting videos because that's how the grandparents are able to see the baby, right? And they really, really appreciate it. Your prospects, this is how you build relationships with people who don't know you so that they see you as more than just a random realtor on Zillow that they clicked on who they don't even remember your name. And that's why I think it's obvious as to why this is so powerful. So guys, that's our 3-day campaign, right? 3 days, voicemails, emails, text message, mixed and match around the perfect cadence. We have seen this to get a killer response. By the way, Kevin, I see your message. It's no problem that you're late. We actually have a recording. We have a recording that I'm going to be sending out, although I found out while I'm in the middle of this that there may be some problems with people seeing the correct slides. So I hope that's corrected in the recording, but hopefully it'll make sense. We'll see. I hate that, you know, you just never know what's going to happen when you're doing a live presentation like this. But no problem. We'll have the recording. So I want you guys to know that as I share this campaign, the number one thing that we hear, and I understand it, is, you know, hey, Costas, I don't want to be annoying here. I want to be effective. I don't want to be annoying. So let me show you what kind of results are typical with something like this. So first of all, make this, I think I can make this window a little smaller so that you guys can see all of it. Let me try this. Okay, that looks good. So this is a prospect, Michelle Thomas, and you can see, so our system logs all the communications, right? So you can see that a voicemail was dropped at 2:44 p.m. An email went out at 2:49 p.m. A text message went out at 2:54 p.m. And here we go, 45 minutes later, Michelle responds by text. Yes, if you could tell me a little bit about the house, that would be great. Now, one thing I want to highlight here, because people ask, well, if she responded by text, why am I bothering doing all this other stuff? We have found that if you mix your follow-up channels, you're more likely to get a response by text. So just because the person responded by text doesn't mean they didn't hear your voicemail or get your email. Just because they responded in the way they're comfortable with. Also, think about the advantages of the mediums, right? The reason why I think voicemail does so well is because they went from not knowing who you are to hearing your voice. I mean, my gosh, like, aside from when we meet somebody, the second most powerful quality that conveys trust is how their voice sounds. The first being how they look, right? But when you're talking to somebody that you can't meet with, the way your voice sounds conveys trust, right? So I suspect that's why this campaign works so well, because the first thing they did is hear your voice. And maybe they didn't respond, but when you texted them, they trusted that text all that much better. This is my theory. Again, I can't tell you for sure. I just know that this works. I don't know why this works, but I know it does work, and that's my theory behind it. You'll notice multiple responses, right? So this person, Don Riley, got a text message, right? And the text message was very specific. You could read it down here. But this person was so motivated that they sent 4 text messages. And look at the times at 8:16 a.m. Don Riley, I'm available today if possible from 11:30 till 1. Will you be available? 2 minutes later, I'll be heading home around 1. I won't be back till 2. Now here's the thing. A half hour goes by and the realtor doesn't respond. Please let me know as soon as possible so I can plan accordingly. And then another hour goes by. Any chance of seeing the house today? Let me ask you guys, do you think that Don Riley sounds like a motivated person? I mean, Don is like chasing the agent here, right? It's funny when I caught this because I'm like, my gosh, like Don is hounding the agent, begging them to respond. That's how it should be, right? And why is she doing this? Because she thinks that the agent invested the time in the relationship. So she doesn't feel like she's getting blown off. I wonder, I always wonder if this agent actually picked up the phone and responded back, because it sure does seem like Don was motivated. Here's another one. Voicemail, text message, email goes out. This person responds back 15 minutes later. Hey, Lyndon, do you have time after 4:15 to show the property? And yet another one, Mina, this lady here, Mina, she sent a text at 12 p.m., but that wasn't enough for her. She picked up the phone 3 minutes later. She picked up the phone and called. And the agent must not have responded, because 1 minute later, she picked up the phone and called again. Do you think that it would make a difference in your business if you could get your prospects to chase you instead of the other way around? Would that be easier for you to know how to prioritize your time and who is worth your speaking to and who's not worth you speaking to? I hope so. I want you to know that in Agent Legend platform, we have a dashboard, and that dashboard shows all your prospects, including the ones that have responded and how they've responded. So you can see it all in one place. Let me stop here and see if there are any questions so far. I don't see that there are any questions in the chat box. We will have time for questions, so if you guys have them, please go ahead and ask them. So let me ask you guys this. I think you get the idea of what kind of campaign that you should send. But let me ask you, so here is a campaign that was run to Curator leads. Curator is a great company, by the way. They do a good job running Facebook advertising to generate leads for you, right? They're just one of the companies that we're well familiar with. So Curator here has sent Jay 149 leads. 35% of them have responded. That's good, right? I mean, it's all relative, right? 35% is a good response rate compared to what Jay was getting before. But let me ask you this. That means 65% of those leads did not respond, right? So what would you think about those 65% who did not respond? Does that mean they're not interested? I want to ask you guys that question. I just want to see what you think. Dennis, Ernie, Guy, Josh, Casey, Kevin, Michael, Mike, Ryan, Tom. What do you guys think? You got a 35% response rate on these leads. Does that mean that 65% aren't interested? And what should you do with the 65% that are not interested? This is a real question. I just want to see what you guys think and where your head is at. So Michael says, keep following up. Guy says, keep following up. Kevin says, keep following up. You literally, all three of you typed keep following up in the exact same way, which is like, I feel like the odds of that happening are slim to none unless you're in the same room. That's amazing. So you're right. You should keep following up, because it doesn't mean they're not interested. It means they're not interested yet. Because think about it. Right? The leads came in. Why would they have come in? What happened? Why did that person inquire about a property and then just not respond to you? Well, they were interested when they had some level of interest. So I want you to know how we handle that. We have a special feature inside Agent Legend. We call it Auto Nurture. And Auto Nurture basically takes all the people that haven't responded, all the people that ignored your initial campaign. So they made it to the end, they never responded. And Auto Nurture continues to follow up with these people, but not aggressively. It does this softly, right? Because again, these people may not be ready now, but they do need to be nurtured on the long term. So here's an example of a voicemail that we use, that Tristan uses in his Auto Nurture campaign. I'm gonna hit play for you so you can hear it.
Hi again, this is Tristan with Keller Williams Realty. Hope you're having a great day. I'm following up with you to make sure that you're getting the right homes by email, and I don't want to just spam you with homes just in general. So I want to make sure I have the right city, right price range, and just the right search criteria overall. When you have a moment, call me back or text me just to let me know. Hope you're having a wonderful day and a great month.
So that's what Tristan says. Now, Auto Nurture, we drip your follow-ups out every 2 weeks. So again, this is not aggressive. This is over the long term. So that way, you know, if someone reaches out because they're interested now and they've been hearing from you 6 months later, right? They've been hearing from you every other week, every 2 or 3 weeks, right? A thoughtful check-in, a thoughtful message. They hear your voice. They ask you're asking if you can do anything with them. Who do you think that person's going to call 9 months later when they're finally ready to prioritize? Are they going to call someone brand new on Zillow, or are they going to call the person that's been diligently following up with them, not aggressive, not annoying, helpful check-ins? They're going to call you, of course. That's the whole point, right? And so guys, with a strategy like this, it's not abnormal to see response rates like what you see on our screen here. This is a 37% response rate to old leads, 50% response rate to open house leads, 46% response to Boomtown leads, 71% to Zillow. So again, if you have leads that come from different channels, you put them in different campaigns, and that's how you're able to evaluate them against each other, because all leads are not created equal. So with responses like this are very, very typical. And I want you to know that in general, we've been able to find some stats. The average response rate to internet leads is 10% for the industry. And Realtor.com and Zillow, we've been able to average our response amongst thousands of agents that have worked with Realtor.com and Zillow to these. So as you can see here, this is 4 and 5 and almost 6 times the rate of normal response. What does that mean, guys? Think about what that means. That means 4 times and 5 times more at bats. That's 5 times more conversations than you're getting now. 4 times more conversations, right? I mean, you know, when you have the luxury of more qualified leads, then you don't even have to be an amazing closer. You could be an average closer and have an amazing business if you have enough chances to close people. So we also have a Agent Legend mobile app. We have Agent Legend for iPhone and Android, and this is because most of our agents are on the go, right? Like you're not in front of a computer all day able to email somebody or something. So our new iPhone and Android apps allow you to see all your responses in one place. You can make phone calls from the app. You could actually see when somebody's calling, like your phone is ringing and you'll see the name of the prospect, their property address, all before you've even answered the phone. This is actually a brand new feature that we've just implemented. We're super excited, but that'll allow you to answer the phone when somebody calls you back and talk to them like you already know them, right? You won't have to act like, oh, who's this? What's your name? Why are you calling me? You won't have to remind yourself of who they are because you'll see it right then and there, and you can pick up the phone and act like their best friend, right? You could say, oh yeah, hey, Timothy, thanks for reaching out. I know I left you a voicemail yesterday. I wanted to talk with you about that property, you know, 512 Main Street. It's now a good time, right? So this allows you, we arm you with the tool right on your phone that shows you everything you need, so that way you can keep the conversation friendly and be on top of it. We've got tons of testimonials, guys. If you want to familiarize yourself with what people are saying and what they're doing, you've probably already gone to our website. I see a lot of familiar faces here, actually, so I know that many of you are actually already customers, and I think you're here just to get an idea of what's working lately, which is wonderful. That's so exciting, and I'm glad you're here for that. For those of you that are not yet customers and you'd like to book a demo, you can go to agentlegend.com/now, and you'll be able to book a one-on-one demo with our customer team members who are going to show you specifically related to your business how our system would help you. The other thing that we have is done for you setup and campaigns. So what that means is we have pre-built campaigns like the one that I've already shown you, but many, many more. So number one, you'll get access to the campaign that I've shown you. It'll already be in your account. But just so you know, we've got pre-made campaigns for buyers, we've got sellers, we've got Zillow, we've got Commissions Inc., we've got Boomtown, we've got IDX websites. We have campaigns that work for sale by owners, expireds. We have different kinds of campaigns for old leads, leads that are aged, leads that are old that came from different lead sources. All I'm saying here is we've got you covered with campaigns that have been proven to work. And the important thing is these are campaigns that are working now, right? So everything that we're showing you are things that realtors, other customers of ours, we work with mortgage brokers as well, are having success with right now. So if you'd like to find out more about how we can help, agentlegend.com/now. Again, when you book your demo, you're going to have an appointment. We're going to show you how the system works, answer all your questions, talk to you about how to connect your leads. We take care of all that stuff. You'll get your own dedicated customer success manager, which comes part of your Agent Legend account. And our customer success team will make sure to set up your leads. They'll create the campaigns with you and for you, so you're not on your own to do any of this. We're here to make sure that this has no choice but to be successful. So agentlegend.com/now. If you haven't already booked your demo, I'm gonna stop here and see if anybody has any questions about anything that we've discussed or anything that I did not cover that you're curious about. We hold these webinars in order to serve you, so please just let me know. Dennis, Ernie, Guy, Josh, Casey, Kevin, Michael, Mike, Ryan, Tom. So Ernie asks, is it an annual contract? So Ernie, no. Well, we have different levels of subscriptions. We do have a month-to-month subscription where you can cancel anytime. If you do want to contract, we do have contract options as well. So, but you don't need to take us up on them. You can sign up just month to month and make sure it's a fit for you that way, and you cancel anytime. But we do have 6-month and 12-month contract options as well for those who want, but you don't have to do them. Kevin asks, is there a script library anywhere on the site? Yes, there is, Kevin. We actually have a template library inside your account. I think, Kevin, you told me you already have an account with us earlier, right? So when you go into create a new campaign, you'll see a template library. And actually, since you asked, Kevin, we're getting ready to release a new version of our template library where it's just a new way of organizing our templates, and we've got a bunch of new templates we're putting in. So this is actually about to get a major upgrade. But yes, Kevin, you can go into your Agent Legend account right now and see all the templates that we have to offer. Also, Kevin, there's a little chat box when you come in. And if you'd like, you can reach out to one of our customer success team members and ask them to help you pick the right templates and customize the template. So we're always here to help you with that. And that's right inside your account. Again, all you got to do is click the chat box and let our team know that you'd like some help choosing the right templates or looking at them together. Awesome, awesome. So Casey asks a really good question. Casey says, what happens if they call back the number will it be routed to our number? So that's a really, really great question, Casey. So first of all, if you are using the Agent Legend app, the call and the text will come right into the app. So you'll just pick up the phone and answer your phone like you normally do. If you don't use the Agent Legend app, your phone will ring from a number that is connected to you, but your prospect doesn't know it's not your number. So everybody gets an Agent Legend phone number when they use their Agent Legend account. So Casey, you're gonna have your own Agent Legend phone number, and whenever anybody calls you on it or texts you on it, it's gonna route to your cell phone. So you're gonna get calls and texts on your cell phone. They're not gonna know it's not your actual cell phone number. So we do this because, when I was showing you earlier, these logs of text messages and phone calls, that your Agent Legend number is how we're able to track and know that people are calling you back, or know to log what they're saying and what you're saying. So yes, great question. You are given an Agent Legend phone number. Excuse me. It directs right back to your phone. You can choose to tell somebody, hey, actually, this is my, we've got some people that say, yeah, you know what, you just called my computer line. Let me give you my personal cell phone. I'll give you that too. But it's not a problem, and the calls end up going directly to you. Great question. Guys, agentlegend.com/now. Book your demo with us. It's a personalized one-on-one demo with our customer team. You invest today, you get your own dedicated customer success manager. We will hook everything up for you and with you. We'll record your voice. We'll show you how to do everything. By the way, onboarding takes about 15 minutes of your time, so it's not, it's not some crazy complicated setup. Kevin, maybe you could speak to that, since you've already, well, actually you, and I see that Mike already. Mike, you've been with us for years. I recognize your name. And so, you guys can speak to how straightforward it is. We do have a customer success manager that will help you to make sure that everything gets done. So agentlegend.com/now. And let me see if there are any other questions. Are there any other questions that anybody has? I see some names on here that we actually haven't heard from at all. Please, if you have any questions at all about something we talked about or didn't talk about. Okay, so Ernie asks, the for sale by owner and expired campaign, is there any extra fees for that? No, Ernie, there are no fees. You get all the templates. Actually, there's no additional fee for any of the services that I've shown you today. So you get access to all the templates, buyers, sellers, old leads, for sale by owners, expireds. You get access to all the templates. There's no limitation to how many different types of leads you can go after and how many templates you can have active. You'll have access to everything as soon as you get into the system, and you'll have access to all those campaigns. Thank you for that question, Ernie. Okay, it looks like we've got all the questions. Guys, thank you so much for your time and for your attention today. Thank you for bearing with me for the slides. I'm gonna have the recording. We have been recording, although I hope the video turned out well and that the slides picked up. Otherwise, it would just be all audio, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the recording available to anybody that missed it and may have wanted to catch up. Thank you so much. Remember again, agentlegend.com/now. Book your demo. We'll have that at that time. We'll go over your lead sources. We'll go over your thoughts and how you'd like to represent yourself, and our team will just give you candid advice and next steps about signing up if it's a good fit. If there's anything that I can do for you, please feel free to email me back. If there's anything that you want me to know, or anything that I can do for you at all, please send me an email. Thank you so much. I look forward to working with you. I know we work with many of you already, and if there's anything I can do to help any of you, please let me know. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.